In the late 20th century, a family's vision in pharmaceuticals would ignite one of the most devastating public health crises in modern American history. The Sacklers, owners of Purdue Pharma, introduced OxyContin in 1996, a powerful opioid painkiller marketed as a revolutionary solution for chronic pain. What followed was a storm of addiction, legal battles, and public outrage that reshaped the pharmaceutical industry and left tens of thousands dead. How did a family once celebrated for philanthropy become synonymous with the opioid epidemic? How did a single drug transform communities, families, and national policy? This is the story of the Sackler dynasty, a cautionary tale of ambition, innovation, and tragedy. Origins and rise. 1952 to 1995. The story begins in the 1950s with three brothers, Arthur, Mortimer, and Raymond Sackler. Arthur, a psychiatrist trained at New York University, pioneered research in psychopharmacology, while Mortimer and Raymond expanded into business and marketing. They founded Purdue Frederick in 1952, a pharmaceutical company that initially focused on over-the-counter remedies and minor prescription drugs. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, the Sacklers' approach combined scientific innovation with aggressive marketing. Arthur's research emphasized the biochemical roots of pain and mental health disorders, while Mortimer and Raymond built networks within the medical community. Their philanthropic efforts, which funded museums, universities, and medical institutions, earned them public admiration, masking the aggressive corporate tactics behind the scenes. By the 1980s, Purdue Frederick had established itself as a mid-sized pharmaceutical company, preparing to enter the lucrative prescription painkiller market. The brothers recognized a critical opportunity. Chronic pain sufferers were underserved, and opioids, long restricted due to fear of addiction, presented a new frontier if marketed carefully. The OxyContin Era Begins, 1996 to 2000. The launch of OxyContin in 1996 marked a turning point. Purdue Pharma, led by the next generation of Sacklers, promoted the drug as a breakthrough in chronic pain management. Its extended-release formula promised 12-hour relief with a supposedly low risk of addiction. The marketing campaign was groundbreaking and controversial. Purdue employed a vast sales force to educate physicians, often downplaying the drug's addictive potential. Key slogans such as "less risk of abuse" and "virtually no addiction" were cited repeatedly in promotional materials, despite internal warnings and early reports of misuse. By 1998, OxyContin sales had skyrocketed to over $1 billion. The company's aggressive promotion techniques, seminars, direct physician outreach, and patient-targeted advertising laid the groundwork for widespread prescription use. Small towns across America, particularly in Appalachia, began reporting surges in addiction. Yet OxyContin remained widely trusted as a medical necessity. During this period, Purdue's legal troubles began quietly. In 2000, the company faced lawsuits from individual states and families alleging misleading marketing. However, settlements were relatively minor, and the company continued its aggressive growth strategy. National crisis and legal reckoning, 2000 to 2010. As the new millennium progressed, the human cost of OxyContin became undeniable. Reports of addiction, overdoses, and diversion to the black market multiplied. In 2001, the New York Times published investigative articles linking the Sacklers to deceptive marketing tactics, while independent studies highlighted alarmingly high addiction rates. By 2007, federal prosecutors charged Purdue Pharma with misbranding OxyContin as less addictive than it was. The company agreed to a historic $634 million settlement, the largest pharmaceutical settlement at that time. without admitting criminal wrongdoing. 3 top executives pleaded guilty to criminal charges, yet the Sacklers themselves largely avoided personal accountability. Throughout the 2000s, opioid-related deaths climbed dramatically, and public awareness of the epidemic grew. Purdue Pharma expanded its product line, further embedding opioids in American healthcare. Meanwhile, the Sacklers continued their philanthropic work, which critics argued was an attempt to shield their reputation from scrutiny. Fallout and Legacy, 2010 to present. The 2010s brought intensified legal and social consequences. Multiple states, cities, and counties filed lawsuits seeking restitution for the public health crisis attributed to Purdue Pharma. In 2019, Purdue filed for bankruptcy as part of a settlement plan that would distribute billions to opioid victims. Court documents revealed the extent of the Sacklers' involvement, including emails and internal memos showing knowledge of OxyContin's addictive properties. Public outrage reached a peak. Cultural institutions began removing the Sackler name from buildings, galleries, and university programs once proudly associated with the family's philanthropy. By 2022, Purdue Pharma had agreed to a settlement exceeding $8 billion, with the Sacklers personally contributing billions to resolve claims. Yet the damage endured. Over 500,000 Americans died from opioid overdoses between 1999 and 2020, leaving a national scar that will persist for generations. The epidemic also reshaped policy and medical practice. Prescription guidelines tightened, monitoring programs expanded, and the FDA implemented stricter oversight. OxyContin remains available, but with significantly restricted prescribing protocols. A stark reminder of the consequences of corporate overreach. Lessons from the Sackler Legacy. The saga of the Sacklers and OxyContin is more than a tale of wealth and power. It is a story of systemic failure, unchecked corporate influence, and human tragedy. It exposes how ambition and profit motives, when left unchallenged, can devastate communities and families. Yet it also provides crucial lessons. It underscores the importance of transparency, regulatory vigilance, and ethical responsibility in healthcare. It reminds society that public trust, once broken, leaves long-lasting scars. The Sackler dynasty may be infamous, but the story of OxyContin serves as a powerful mirror, asking each of us to question the systems that shape our lives and the choices we make within them. How do you think we can prevent similar crises in the future? What role do corporations, regulators, and individuals play in protecting public health? And how should society balance innovation and accountability? Write in the comments. Want more true stories? Subscribe to our Real One Stories channel.